IXL section S13, right linear functions, word problems. Okay, this IXL should be pretty simple for the most part because we already did an IXL similar to this earlier in the year. Uh, it basically has two parts or two different types of questions. The first types of questions, you're just going to write an equation for the word problem in slope-intercept form. And the second half, you're going to have to write the equation and solve it. I'll show you when we get to that. So let's look at this first problem here. It says Nate had already read 3 books this year before joining a book club, and he plans to read 6 books every month now that he has joined. Write an equation that shows the relationship between the months M and the total books read B. All right, so you got to write an equation that represents what it says in a word problem. Now look at the instructions here. It says write your answer as an equation with B first, followed by an equal sign. All right, so my answer has to look like that. B equals, okay, now, okay, so for this one, let me explain it. And then after we see like 2 or 3, you should notice the pattern because they all follow the same pattern. It says that Nate has already read 3 books. All right, that's his starting point. That's his y-intercept. And then he plans to read 6 books every month. 6 books every month. All right, and that's my answer. Notice that it says here that for the, I'm sorry, this is what I was looking for. They want you to use the letter M to represent months. Okay, so if you look at how I set it up, he already read 3 books. All right, so to begin with, he already has 3 that he read, and he's going to read 6 books every month. Notice that I wrote this in slope-intercept form. This is the y-intercept. The y-intercept is always your starting point. And this is your slope. All right, and that's how I would write my answer. Now, if you wanted to, you could have written it like this, and that's going to be correct as well. That should say 6M. But I would get in the habit of writing it in slope-intercept form. That way your brain will register, oh, this is the slope and this is the y-intercept, and you'll get better at identifying it whenever it comes up, okay? So I would get in the habit of writing it in that form. Let me explain that in Spanish before I go to the next example. Este problema, bueno, para este IXL hay 2 tipos de problemas. Al principio van a tener que escribir una ecuación en esta forma que describe lo que está pasando en el problema. Y después, más tarde, van a tener que escribir la ecuación y también resolver la ecuación dependiendo de lo que están preguntando en la pregunta. Okay, en esta pregunta dice que Nate ya leyó 3 libros este año antes de meterse en el club de libros. Y él está planeando de leer 6 libros cada mes desde ahora adelante. Escriben una ecuación que enseña la relación que existe entre los meses M y los libros total que he leído B. Y aquí dice que quieren que escriben la ecuación usando B primero, seguido por el signo de igual. Ok, así que la respuesta va a estar en esta forma. Ok, así que dice que ya he leído 3 libros. Así que ese número va solo aquí. Ya leo 3 libros y va a leer 6 libros cada mes. 6 cada mes. Ok, aquí te dice que tiene que usar la letra M para los meses. Y ya, ahí está mi respuesta. Fíjense que este número aquí atrás es el y-intercept. Ese siempre es el punto inicial donde uno está empezando. Ya él está empezando con ya he leído 3 libros. Así que por eso lo escribo aquí. Y esto es el slope, porque él va a leer 6 libros cada mes. Lo deben escribir en esta forma para que puedan identificar fácil el y-intercept y el slope. All right, look at the next one. Fred has already cycled 6 kilometers this year. All right, so again, it's in the same exact form. He's already starting with 6 of whatever it is that they're talking about in the problem. In this case, 6 kilometers. Ok, dice que ya Fred he montado bicicleta 6 kilómetros. Así que ese es mi y-intercept. Eso es donde estoy empezando. Plus, he plans to cycle 4 kilometers during each trip to work. Okay? So during each trip to work, he plans to cycle 4 kilometers. Write an equation that shows the relationship between the number of trips to work, T, and the total distance cycled, D. Write your answer as an equation with D first. So the distance equals 4 kilometers for every trip that he takes. 4 kilometers for every trip that he takes. Notice it says here that use the letter T for trips. Plus 6 kilometers that he already cycled. So that's my answer. D equals 4T plus 6. Again, this is the slope intercept. I'm sorry. This is the slope. Okay, the number 4 is the slope. And the number 6 is the y-intercept. Ok, así que Fred ya he montado 6 kilómetros en la bicicleta este año y él está planeando de montar 4 kilómetros cada viaje que él va al trabajo. Escribe una ecuación que enseña la relación entre los números de viajes y para los números de viajes quieren que usen la letra T y la distancia total que he montado bicicleta, D. Escriben una ecuación con la D primera seguida por el signo de igual. Así que la distancia total es igual a 4 kilómetros por cada viaje más los 6 kilómetros que ya viajó. All right, when ringing up a customer, a cashier needs 8 seconds to process payment as well as 2 seconds to scan each item. All right, so the 2 seconds to scan each item being purchased, that's going to happen over and over again. So the 2 seconds to scan each item being purchased, it says here to use the letter P for purchased, plus the 8 seconds to process the payment. All right, so 2 seconds to scan each item that you're purchasing and 8 seconds to process the payment equals the total time. All right, it says right here to write an equation with T first followed by the equal sign. So this is going to be my answer. Una cajera necesita 8 segundos para procesar el pago y 2 segundos para cada producto que está pasando por la máquina. No sé cómo traducir eso bien. Así que 8 segundos para procesar el pago y 2 segundos para procesar cada cosa que están comprando. ¿Ok? En total, ¿cuánto tiempo va a hacer eso? Y así se escribe la ecuación. Otra vez, este es el y-intercept y esto es el slope. All right? Ali has already written 6 pages. All right? As you can see, they're following the same pattern for a lot of these. So she's already written 6 pages. Ali ya he escrito 6 páginas. She expects to write 2 pages for every additional hour spent writing. All right, 2 pages for every additional hour. Ella va a escribir 2 páginas por cada hora adicional. Write an equation that shows the relationship between the hours spent writing, H, and the total pages written. Okay, so write your answer as an equation with P first, followed by the equal sign. Escriben la respuesta como una ecuación con la P primera, seguido por el signo de igual. Así que el número de páginas es igual a 2 páginas por hora más las 6 páginas que ya ella había escrito. Okay, the total pages written equals 2 pages written per hour plus 6 pages that she had already written. Again, this is our y-intercept. And this is our slope. The number that's being multiplied over and over again is the slope. Always. All right, we're almost done with these types of problems, and then we'll move on to the second type of problem that I have to go over. All right, screen printing a batch of shirts requires 2 minutes per shirt. So 2 minutes every shirt that's going to be the slope, because always the number that's being multiplied over and over again, that's the slope. Okay. Están haciendo pullovers y lleva 2 minutos por cada pullover, en adición a 1 minuto para iniciar el proceso. All right, so 2 minutes for every shirt plus 1 minute of initial setup time. Write an equation. Your equation should start with T first for the time. So the time it takes to do this is 2 minutes per shirt plus the 1 minute of initial setup time. El tiempo que lleva para hacer todo esto es 2 minutos por cada pullover más 1 minuto para iniciar el proceso o la máquina. Okay, so the next one, Ryan has already written 8 pages. We've already seen several like this. Okay, Ryan ya he escrito 8 páginas. He expects to write, I think this is the same exact numbers from before. He expects to write 2 pages every additional hour. So ya este problema lo vimos, pero tiene un nombre diferente. A lo mejor era el mismo nombre y no me recuerdo. All right, maybe it was the same problem and I didn't realize and I put it twice. But that would be the answer. All right. Okay, Rita has already read 2 books. Rita ya he leído 2 libros. So, before joining a book club, she plans to read 3 books every month now. Okay, ella piensa leer 3 libros cada mes. Write an equation with B first for the total number of books. So the total number of books equals 3 per month plus the 2 books that she already read. El total, los números de libros total que ella ha leído son 3 por mes más los 2 que ya leyó. All right, Kiera has already spent 18 minutes on the phone. Kiera ya he pasado 18 minutos en el teléfono. She expects to spend 4 more minutes with every phone call she makes. Ella piensa pasar 4 minutos más para cada llamada que ella hace. Okay? Write an equation that shows the relationship between the phone calls routed P and the minutes on the phone T. So the total time equals 4 minutes per phone call plus the 18 minutes she's already been on the phone. El tiempo total es igual a 4 minutos por cada llamada más los 18 minutos que ya estuvo en el teléfono. All right, now here's the second type of problem that you're going to have, okay? Aquí están el segundo tipo de problema que van a tener, where you got to do a little bit more. You got to write the equation and solve for whatever they're asking. Okay, ahora tenemos que escribir la ecuación y resolverlo para lo que nos están preguntando. All right, so here it says the charity gala costs a flat fee of $377. A flat fee means it only happens once. So whenever you have that, that's always going to be the y-intercept back here by itself. Plus an additional $9 per attendee. $9 for every attendee. Remember, the number that's being multiplied over and over again is going to be the slope. And the flat fee, or the number that only happens once, is the y-intercept. If there are 26 attendees, how much will the gala cost? In other words, if A equals 26, all right? So if A equals 26, that means I got to substitute it right here and do 9 times 26. 9 times 26 plus 377, okay? If you want to use a calculator for that, that's fine. I'm going to work it out. Let me just repeat this in Spanish, though. Esto sí que no estoy seguro cómo traducirlo en español. Creo que se dice una gala, no estoy seguro. O una fiesta. Pero cuesta 377. Un flat fee es un costo que solamente pasa una vez. ¿Ok? 377 más adicional $9 por cada persona que va a atender. ¿Ok? $9 por cada persona que va a atender. Así que aquí está mi ecuación. 9 por cada persona que va a atender más los 377 que solamente ocurre una vez. ¿Ok? si van a atender 26 personas, en otras palabras, si A es igual a 26, ¿cuánto va a costar en total esta fiesta? Ok, así que tenemos que multiplicar 9 por 26 más 377. So 26 times 9 is going to give you 54. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 5 is 23. So 234 plus 377 is going to give you 611. Let me use the calculator. I want to make sure I didn't make any mistakes here. Just to double check real quick. Yeah, that's correct. All right, moving on to the next one. Dalton has already jarred 16 liters of jam. All right, so he already jarred 16 liters of jam. Okay, déjame tratar lo mejor posible de traducir esto, pero dice que Dalton ya puso 16 litros de, creo que esto es gelatina, en un jarro. Okay, so he already has 16 liters of jam jarred and will jar an additional 4 liters of jam per day. En adición a esto, él va a poner 4 más litros de gelatina cada día. Right, so 4 liters of jam every day. If he wants to have 32 liters of jam, okay, at the end he wants to have 32 liters of jam. How many? You know what? Instead of J, I should have put D. Let me erase that. 32 equals, because it's 4 liters per day. So he has 16 liters of jam already jarred. He's going to jar an additional 14 liters per day. And in total, he wants to have 32 liters of jam. And the question is, how many days? How many days? We got to solve for D. How many days is it going to take for him to get 32 liters of jam? Okay, así que ya él puso 16 litros de gelatina en un jarro. Él va a poner 4 litros más cada día. Y la pregunta es cuántos días va a llevar para que él tenga 32 litros. Así que tenemos que resolver para D. Alright, so I would subtract 16 from both sides, which is going to give me 16 equals 4D. So that means that D equals 16 divided by 4. So D equals, it's going to take him 4 days. Le va a llevar 4 días. Joey has already walked 120 kilometers this week. Ya Joey he caminado 120 kilómetros esta semana. Plus, he plans to walk 9 kilometers during each trip to school. Él va a caminar 9 kilómetros cada viaje a la escuela. All right, so 9 kilometers every trip to school. Let me put a T. After 78 trips to school, how many kilometers will Joey have walked in total? Después de 78 viajes, all right, so if T equals 78, si los números de viajes son 78, ¿cuántos kilómetros él caminó en total? How many kilometers did he walk in total? So I got to do 9 times 78 plus 120. For the sake of time, I'm going to use a calculator. So 9 times 78 plus 120. All right, so my answer is going to be 822 when I work that out. All right, moving on to the next one. Edwin has already prepared 20 kilograms of dough. And will, okay, another word that I don't know how to translate, but whatever. Edwin ya tiene preparado 20 kilogramos de dough, que no sé cómo traducir esa palabra. And will continue preparing 7 kilograms of dough every hour. Él va a seguir preparando 7 kilogramos de dough cada hora. every hour. How many hours? So we're looking for H. How many hours means we're looking for H. How many hours did Edwin work if he prepared? Guys, I'm tired. Sorry that I keep stuttering here. How many hours did Edwin work if he prepared 76 kilograms of dough? ¿Cuántas horas trabajó Edwin si él preparó 76 kilogramos de dough? Así que tengo que resolver para H. So let's subtract both sides by 20. So H is going to equal 56 divided by 7. So H equals, he worked 8 hours. Trabajó 8 horas. All right, Eduardo's birthday party cost $185 plus an additional, so wait, it cost $185 plus an additional $2 for each guest he invites. $2 for each guest he invites. If there are 41 guests, in other words, if G equals 41, how much will his birthday party cost in total? Así que la fiesta de cumpleaños de Eduardo cuesta $185 más adicional $2 por cada invitado. Si hay 41 invitados, ¿cuánto cuesta la fiesta en total? ¿Ok? Así que si $2 por cada invitado, por cada guest. Si hay 41 guests, 41 invitados, ¿cuánto costó en total la fiesta? Así que 2 por 41 más 185. All right, so this is going to cost $267 total. Okay, next one. Jared has already scored 96 points. Jared ya tiene 96 puntos. So that's the y-intercept. And he scores 23 more points with every coin he collects. Él va a tener 23 puntos más para cada kilo que él colecta. Okay, para cada... All right, let's just say whatever. For every coin he collects, 23 C. How many coins does Jared have to collect to score? You know what? This is bugging me. Let me in English. Jared ya tiene 96 puntos y él va a tener 23 puntos más por cada moneda que él colecta. En inglés, coin. ¿Cuánta moneda tiene Jared si él colecta... Espera, how many coins does Jared have to collect? ¿Cuántas monedas él tiene que colectar para que él tenga en total 211 puntos? Así que tengo que resolver para C. You gotta solve for C. So first move 96 to the left and subtract it. You'll have 115 equals 23C. So C is going to equal 115 divided by 23. Which is going to give you 5. So he needs 5 coins. 5 monedas es lo que necesita. All right, Isabella has already written 20 pages. Isabella ya ha escrito 20 páginas. And she expects to write 2 pages for every additional hour spent writing. Ella va a escribir 2 páginas por cada hora adicional que pasa escribiendo. How many hours? So we got to solve for H. ¿Cuántas horas? Así que tenemos que resolver para H. How many hours will Isabella have to spend writing this week in order to have written a total of 38 pages? ¿Cuántas horas tiene que pasar Isabela escribiendo esta semana para tener escrito 38 páginas? All right, so to solve for H, let's first move 20 to the other side. That's going to give you 18 equals 2H. So H equals 18 divided by 2. So she has to spend 9 hours. 9 horas. Maureen's office has already recycled 16 kilograms this year. La oficina de Maureen ya ha reciclado 16 kilogramos este año before starting the new recycling plan. And the new plan will have the office recycling 3.5 kilograms of paper each week. Okay, van a estar reciclando 3.5 kilogramos de papel cada semana, every week. After 16 weeks, so if W equals 16, después de 16 semanas, así que si W es igual a 16, how many kilograms of paper will Maureen's office have recycled? ¿Cuántos kilogramas de papel van a tener reciclado la oficina de Maureen? So I got to do 3.5 times 16 plus 16. And the answer is going to be 72 kilograms here. 72 kilogramos. Okay, Rihanna has already knit 18 centimeters of scarf. Okay, Rihanna ya tiene 18 centímetros de un scarf, que no sé cómo decir en español. And she could knit 2 centimeters each night. Y ella puede hacer 2 centímetros cada noche. 2 centimeters every night. 2 centímetros cada noche. After 17 nights of knitting, so how many nights? 17 nights. Okay, después de 17 noches, how many centimeters of scarf will Rihanna have knit in total? ¿Cuánto, después de 17 noches, cuántos centímetros va a tener Rihanna en total? All right, so 2 times 17 plus 18, and that's going to give you 52 centimeters. Okay, 52 centímetros. A photographer charges $48 to travel to a client's location, right? That only happens once, the travel to the client's location. So that's the number that's by itself back here. That's the y-intercept. Un fotógrafo cobra $48 para viajar al lugar donde está el cliente. Okay, eso solamente pasa una vez, así que eso es un cargo de una vez solamente. Así que eso sería el y-intercept, el número que está aquí atrás solo. Plus $138 per hour for his services, más $138 por hora para sus servicios. So $138 per hour, por hora. What is the duration in hours of a photography session that costs $600? Si esta sesión de fotografía cuesta $600, ¿cuántas horas duró la sesión? So we gotta solve for H. Tenemos que resolver para H. So let's subtract 48 from both sides. All right, that's going to give you 552. So now H is going to equal 552 divided by 138. And the answer is 4. It was 4 hours long. Okay, Emmett set his watch. All right, this one, you might find it a little bit confusing. I'll show you 2 different ways that you could write it in case you have this problem, okay? Este a lo mejor es un poco, se confunden con este, lo voy a escribir de 2 maneras diferentes. Emmett set his watch 3.22 seconds behind, and it falls behind another 3 seconds every day, all right? You know what? Maybe I'll just do it one way to not confuse anybody. Ok, dice que M pone el reloj 3.22 segundos atrasado y el reloj se queda más atrasado 3 segundos cada día. Así que ya está 3.22 segundos atrasado más 3 más segundos atrasado cada día. How many days has it been since Emmett last set his watch if the watch is 54.22 seconds behind? ¿Cuántos días han pasado desde que M arregló el reloj? Si el reloj ya está atrasado 54.22 segundos. All right, so this is probably the easiest way to write it. So then you would do this, because we got to solve for how many days. Tenemos que resolver para cuántos días. All right, that's going to give you 51 equals 3D. So D equals 51 divided by 3. So D is going to equal 17 days. All right. Eso es la manera más fácil de escribirlo. Le voy a enseñar otra manera que lo pueden escribir o pensar del problema. Another way you could have thought about it, this is the way I thought about it. If it's 3.22 seconds behind, and every day it's going to fall 3 more seconds behind, how many days have passed if in total his watch is 54.22 seconds behind? If you write it like that, you still get the same answer. All right, that's how I did it. That's how it made more sense to me. Si lo escriben de esta forma, todavía cogen la misma respuesta. Okay, a lo mejor esto es más complicado para algunos de ustedes. So you end up dividing now negative 51 by negative 3 and you get the same answer. Okay, si dividen estos números, terminan con la misma respuesta, que era 17. All right, we're almost done. Okay, Mitchell already owns 535 novels. Already owns 535 novels. So that's our y-intercept, okay? Mitchell ya es dueño de 535 novelas. Y and he can buy additional ones at the rate of 0.1 per dollar. I know this may sound a little confusing, but I would just write it out the way we've been writing out all the other ones and not overthink it. 0.1 per dollar. How much money does Mitchell need to spend on new novels in order to have a total of 556 novels? Okay. Esta luce un poco extraña de la forma que escribieron esto, pero siguen el mismo patrón y es la misma cosa. Ya él es dueño de 535 novelas y quiere comprar más novelas a un rato de 0.1 por cada dólar. 0.1 por cada dólar. ¿Cuánto dinero tiene que gastar Mitchell para que él tenga en total 556 novelas? All right, so just subtract both sides by 535. And solve for D by dividing 21 by 0.1. And you're going to see that you get $210. He needs to have $210. All right. And I believe this is the last one. This is the last one. Este es el último ejemplo. It says Maya's hair was 7 centimeters long after her last haircut. Okay, el pelo de Maya mide 7 centímetros largo después de el último pelado. And it grows 8.8 centimeters every year. Crece 8.8 centímetros cada año. 8.8 centimeters every year. How many years, cuántos años, will it take until Maya's hair is 95 centimeters long? ¿Cuántos años va a llevar para que el pelo de Maya mide 95 centímetros? Así que tenemos que resolver para los números de año. So subtract both sides by 7. You're going to get 88 equals 8.8y. So y equals 88 divided by 8.8. And when you divide that, you're going to get the answer is 10 years. Okay? La respuesta es 10 años. Okay, so in case anybody joined us late, the IXL that is for today, the IXL that's for today is IXL section S13. IXL section S13. Remember, you got to get up to 100 points. It's due by 6 a.m. the next day that you have my class. And that concludes the lesson for today. Make sure to work on the IXLs, and I hope everyone has a great day. See you guys next class.